Good evening and welcome to the Stephen Leeson Show, brought to you live from the Scientology Community Centre, Dublin. I'm Angel, and it's my great pleasure to present this event. My guest tonight is Finbar Coady, who has been an outsider from his earliest days and was a latecomer to the creative arts. At 33, he left another profession in order to make the world a better place with music. As Leonarh Cohen might say, he tried in his way to be free. Starting in musical theatre, he played the American in Chess and the King in The King and I. Next, he fronted a 10-piece band, but found this limited his expression. So he learned the guitar and hit the road as a troubadour. He entertained audiences around Ireland, Europe, and beyond, with songs never defined by genre, and developed his skills of connecting with people through stories and anecdotes. He's written and recorded albums, starred in short films, and toured with Michael Harding as his onstage musician in The Tinker's Curse. His current work is called Under the Influence of Leonarh Cohen and performed in front of an immersive cinematic backdrop. Please welcome Finbar Coady.
Like a bird on the wire, like a drunk in an old midnight choir. I have tried in my way to be free, like a worm on the hook, like a knight bent down in some old-fashioned book. I have saved all my ribbons for thee. If I have been unkind, if I have been unkind, I hope you can find a way to let it all go right on by. If I have been untrue, if I have been untrue, it's because I thought a lover had to be some kind of liar too. Like a baby stillborn, like a beast with his horn, I have torn everyone who reached out for me. And I swear by this song, I swear by all that I've done wrong, I will make it all up to thee. I saw a beggar, he was leaning on his wooden crutch. He said to me, hey, you just can't ask for all that much. And a pretty woman standing in her darkened door, she cried out to me, hey man, why not ask for just a little bit more? Like a bird on the wire, like a drunk in an old midnight choir. I have tried in my way to be free. Thank you. Chris Christopherson would like those words on his graveyard. Like a drunk in an old midnight choir, I have tried in my way to be free. Maestro. I'm just going to take off the guitar. Now, Maestro. So come, my friends, be not afraid. We are so lightly here. It is in love that we are made. In love we disappear. And though all the maps of blood and flesh are posted on the door, there's no one who has told us yet what Boogie Street is for. Oh, darkened one, I never thought we'd meet. You kiss my lips, oh, then you're gone. A sip of wine, a cigarette, and then it's time to go. I tidied up the kitchenette, and I tuned the old banjo. I'm wanted at the traffic jam. They're saving me a seat. I'm what I am. I'm what I am is back on Boogie Street. And oh my love, I still recall the pleasures that we knew. Rivers and the waterfall, wherein I bathe with you, bewildered by your beauty there. I kneel to dry your feet. By such instructions, you prepare the man for Boogie Street. Oh, crown of light, oh, dark and one, dark and one. You kiss my lips, and then it's done. And I'm back on Boogie Street. So come, my friends, be not afraid. We are so lightly here. second one. I never thought we'd meet. You kiss my lips, and then it's done. And I'm back on Boogie Street. A sip of wine, a cigarette, and then it's time to go. I tidied up the kitchenette, and I tuned the old banjo. I'm wanted at the traffic jam. They're saving me a seat. I'm what I am, and what I am is back on Boogie Street. Thank you. Back on Boogie Street. This next song is from Leonard's first album, Songs of Leonarh Cohen, and it's called Suzanne. And I filmed most of this on a day in Dublin during lockdown. We had to come up for a medical appointment, and we said we'd go and take in the beach. So I had a beautiful day in Dublin, and the rest of it was shot in Mullingar. So Maestro. Suzanne is such an interesting sounding woman. She takes you down, man. She takes you down to a place near the river. You can hear the boats go by, and you can spend the night beside her. Suzanne takes you down to a place near the river. You can hear the boats go by. You can spend the night beside her. And you know she's half crazy. That's why you want to be there. And she feeds you tea and oranges that come all the way from China. Just when you mean to tell her you have no love to give her, she gets you on her wavelength. She lets the river answer that you've always been her lover. And you want to travel with her, and you want to travel blind, and you know she will trust you, for you've touched her perfect body with your mind. Yes, and Jesus was a sailor when he walked upon the water, and he spent a long time watching from a lonely wooden tower. And the sun, he knew for certain, only drowning men could see him. He said all men will be sailors then, until the sea shall free them. But he himself was broken long before the sky would open. Forsaken, almost human, he sank beneath your wisdom like a stone. And you want to travel with him, and you want to travel blind, and you think maybe you'll trust him, for he's touched your perfect body with his mind. Yes, Suzanne takes your hand and she leads you to the river. She is wearing rags and feathers from Salvation Army counters, and the sun poured down like honey on Our Lady of the Harbor. And she shows you where to look among the garbage and the flowers. There are heroes in the seaweed, children in the morning. They are leaning out for love. They will lean that way forever while Suzanne holds the mirror. And you want to travel with her, and you want to travel blind, and you know you can trust her, for she's touched your perfect body with her mind. Thank you, Suzanne. So we're going to finish this first little set with a song. I think it's just incredibly appropriate with all the craziness that's going on in the world right now at the end of March 2022. So let's just play the song. Yeah, it says it all. May we live in peace and be thankful for the peace we live in. This is for Bridget and Michelle and Eleanor. The birds they sang at the break of day. Start again, I seem to hear them say, do not dwell on what has passed away. Always yet to be. And the wars, they will be fought again. The holy dove, she will be caught again. Bought and sold and bought again. The dove is never free. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. We asked for signs, the signs were sent. The birth betrayed, the marriage spent. The widowhood of every single government. Signs for all to see. And I can't run no more with that lawless crowd, while the killers in high places say their prayers out loud. But they have summoned up a thundercloud, and they're gonna hear from me. Ring the bell that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. You can add up the parts, but you won't have the sum. You can strike up the march on your little broken drum. Every heart to love will come, but like a refugee. Ring the bell that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. Thank you so much.
Wow, wasn't that amazing, ladies and gentlemen? What a treat. So yeah, welcome, Finbar Coady. You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. I'm sure
Okay,
you know about that. The excitement. I'm just wondering where it all began for you.
Oh God. When I left school, I became a bricklayer and a stonemason, and I went abroad. I was in England and America, and then the recession hit, and I went working in financial services for about 7 years, and then I was like, oh, this isn't doing it for me. So I was in England at the time, and I came back for the summer to build a house for a guy, and I just said to myself, I'm not going back. And then I said, well, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I think I'll be a singer. And I was like, yeah.
Just out of the blue, I think I'll be a singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always knew I could sing,
Yeah.
but I never had done any. And I just thought, I'm going to be a singer. So like, how are you going to do that? I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm just going to do it. And I just started putting out the vibes that I wanted to be a singer, and things came up, and then chess came up they were reopening the theatre in Mullingar after a big refit, and they advertised for singers, and I went in and I got the gig. I got the American gig, and it was really beautiful, and
excellent.
It was some experience now, you know. Fabulous show, fabulous songs, and like from nothing.
Yes.
You know, here I am.
So you're destined to sing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it feels like that now. Yeah.
And I know that you had you were fronting a 10-piece band, but it also kind of you learned the guitar because you wanted the freedom of being your own person.
Yeah,
as a musician.
Honestly now, right? I'm a difficult personality, right? And me in with 9 other bods, like it was tricky, you know. I'm driven. I was like, they were happy to play around the place and rehearse when they rehearsed, and you know, and really great musicians. But I was like, is this it, lads? You know.
Yes.
So by semi-mutual consent, I moved on, and one of the guys said to me, well, can you not play guitar, like? And I was, no. Well, can't you play a C chord? And I was, no. A D? I'm like, no. Well, what's wrong with you, like? What, you know? And I'm
Singing wasn't enough for them, no?
No. But he knew, like, you know,
Yeah.
he knew what I didn't know, because he was 20 years down the road ahead of me, like. And so another friend lent me a guitar, and I really played it till my fingers bled from January to the end of November. And on the 1st of December that year, I was down in Fuerteventura gigging on my own.
Well done.
Bet the sugar out of the guitar.
So the ticket to freedom was you touring then, which obviously you were touring Ireland, and then you were in Europe, and then I know you were beyond Europe, and you were also in the Canaries.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about a few of those experiences?
Well, the Canaries was the first one, like 10 months playing the guitar, like
Yeah.
10 months.
Wow,
And
that's
I wasn't,
amazing.
and I'm telling
Well
you, I
done.
wasn't gifted now. You know, I was beating the sugar out of guitar. But I could sing and I just didn't care. And that came across, like, and I'm good at connecting with people, especially from a stage. I'm good at connecting with them. Um, and I I learned the easiest songs to learn, and there were a lot of ballads. Like I'll tell me ma when I go home, and
Brilliant.
Morshin Durkin, and I started doing Wheela Wila.
Was that kind of your genre of music in the beginning?
It kind of was, yeah.
So you were into all the ballads, and then
Yeah.
it obviously it's changed. Well, it hasn't really, I suppose.
Yeah, no, it really did change. Like,
Yeah.
it just. But ballads were. I looked at the easiest songs I could learn, and a chap in Mullingar, Seamus Crowley was his name. He picked out a lot of songs. Look, this look G C D. Look, there you go. Or this one has E minor in it. Look, put the capo on the third fret. You'll be grand. You'll be grand. And that was kind of how the set list was formed. And Wheela Wila was only 2 chords, I think. So I knocked great crack. That was the first one I really started to tell a story about. Like, it was the first song I learned in school, in like first or second babies. Wheela Wila was in the charts at the time. And they taught it to us, right?
Yeah.
And it came back to me as a 33-year-old man. I'm thinking, you can't teach that song to children. And a woman who was in at the gig one night, holiday bar down in front, she was sitting down and listening to the song with the baby in the buggy, and sure, the poor woman was probably suffering from postnatal depression. She got up like, and she's like, that's disgraceful. And she walked out the door. And I liked the idea of that. I didn't mean to offend a woman, but the story was so real. You know, I imagined a woman with postnatal depression left on her own in the woods with a baby and a penknife.
That doesn't sound good.
And a penknife.
That's not very good.
What are you going
Who
to do?
wrote that song?
Yeah. And that was kind of the start of it. And then I came back. I went to Las Vegas after there. My brother was in the Big 8 show band here, and he left them, and he had a career out in Vegas, and he was coming to his retirement, and I thought maybe I'd take over his band, and I wasn't ready, and he told me, and I didn't want to hear it, but he was right. And then I came back here, and I hooked up with a songwriting friend, the guy who lent me his guitar, Vince Hughes, and we started writing songs, and we said we'd head off. We were going for Germany, but we made it as far as Belgium.
Why did you want to move from Ireland at the time?
Just for the crack.
Just for the fun of it all?
Just for, why not? Like, you know, it was rock and roll.
Yeah.
I was a musician now, I'm going. What do musicians do? Like sex, drugs, rock and roll. I'm on it. and off I went. I had an old blue Ford Transit that my brother lent me. I mean, this van was just shouldn't have been on the road. The steering was like this in it, But we knocked some miles out of it, drove it up as far as the north of Finland and back, and had a great crack.
Did you have a favourite place?
Nah.
No.
No.
Anywhere?
Anywhere.
You just fitted in everywhere.
Yeah, because I'd be coming and going,
Yeah.
But I found myself in some brilliant places. And when you're touring as a musician, as a one-man or a small little outfit, you just meet great people. I remember staying in a squat in Holland. I don't even, somewhere in the middle of Holland. It was an ex-army camp taken over by hippies. That was really cool. That was a really
You're
cool
really
place.
rock and roll, I can tell you.
I used to be.
And then obviously you came back to Ireland. So what brought you back?
Jeez, I don't know.
Was it the shows at Michael Harding, was it?
No, I'll tell you what. No, that was
No.
much later. No, my father died.
All right.
During the Belgium time, I headed off to, my dad got sick, went into like a hospice.
Sorry to hear that.
And I just couldn't hang around. Like I just couldn't hang around. I knew he was going to be around in the hospice for a while. I knew he didn't want to be there. So I went to Belgium, and then I went off to Argentina for a few months on my own. Nobody knew where I was. Like, I was thinking, no, he's not going to die. Like, I knew he wouldn't die. And I stayed down there for 6 or 7 weeks or something. 9/11 happened when I was down there. Then I came back to Belgium, and then he died, and I
think that was kind of what made me come back home. I spent a month at home when he died. I went back and it wasn't the same after that.
Well, it's such a
And
life-changing experience to lose a parent, so that changes your perspective of life
yeah,
and where you want to be.
yeah, it's different. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and like my mother had been gone already, so that was it. Then I was an orphan, you know,
Yeah.
and it really did impact me. I think.
I think mentally it changes you completely.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, you're on your own, you know.
And you
You're
feel it as well.
yeah, yeah, officially on your own. You know.
And I also think it changes the way you sing and your approach to songs.
Yeah, 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 it probably does.
Hmm.
Um, for me, the whole of music at that time was such a learning curve. I mean, I was just going and learning as I went. I had no understanding of dynamic of music, of creation of music, of composition. I just did it, you know, and I beat that guitar. Like a Dutch
Yeah.
guy came up to me one night and he says, you know, you play guitar like you play a drum. I said to him, what night is it? I said, and he said, it's Saturday night. I said, are you not gigging tonight, mister? You know, so that was, he just moved on. But like, I was driven to play and I just played and played and played.
Yeah.
And got a phenomenal amount of gigs and made a really nice living, had tons of fun. But it was blind. I had no plan. And I eventually ran out of steam.
Is that how you made the transition to work with Michael Harding? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
No, Michael used to be a priest and he was teaching in a school in Cavan. And a friend of mine in Mullingar, Fergal Fox, of Fox's Fruit and Veg, sponsored by Fox's Fruit and Veg this evening. Fergal knew Michael. Fergal was the student of his. And when he came into the shop, Fergal recognised his voice, made the connection, and I got to know him then through Fergal. And he had this show that had toured as a three-man show, but he wanted to do it on his own. And he wanted a musician on stage with him. And he tried a number of people. And then he just asked me, would I try it out? And I got the gig, like, and it was, you know, my normal gigs were full on, full of energy. And on this gig, I would sit on the stage, just sit there in a low light, and he would do maybe 10 minutes, and then there'd be an invisible cue for me to come in, and I would just sing a song, not plugged in or anything. I just had the guitar, and I would sing a song. And then it would stop again, and I would just be still for 10 minutes at a time on the stage. And that was the effect Michael had on me. I felt like I was at the feet of a Zen master. I really did. Like,
Amazing.
yeah, it was, you know, I knew when I was doing it. Previously, I had no conscious awareness of what I was doing. I was just doing it. But Michael, working with Michael gave me consciousness, you know. And he'd pick me up on a Wednesday morning and we'd head off to Tralee, or we'd head off out to the Aran Islands, or we'd wherever. Like, we toured a lot over about a year and a half. And we'd have 2-day trip, you know, and he'd be driving and I'd be just riding shotgun and chatting, and it was lovely.
I love that he actually had an amazing influence on you. Did that actually move you into your Leonarh Cohen stage because of that? Because I know you've a show now called Under the Influence of Leonarh Cohen.
Leonard still, I was never a fan of Leonarh Cohen. I wasn't not a fan of his. I'd never engaged, I never listened. I was aware of Hallelujah, I was aware of Dance Me to the End of Love, Bird on the Wire, but I was only aware of them. I'd never engaged with them. One of my brothers told me when I was 21, I said to him, what's the story with Leonarh Cohen? And he said, bedsit, you know, depression music. Nah, he said. And that influenced me. Prejudice, his prejudice, because he hadn't listened to him, he read the quote. It influenced me, and it took me over 30 years to come around to the point where Leonarh Cohen came into my head. But if I hadn't worked with Michael, I just wouldn't have had the emotional capacity or awareness to do it, you know.
Yeah.
Because Leonarh Cohen's music is completely, it's complete emotional expression. You know, the words, the compositions, the delivery, it's so soft. He said about, he was producing his lady friend later on in his life, producing an album. Angélie was her name. And there was a song that he'd written for her, and, you know, they were working on it, and she went for the weekend to, you know, finish the vocals, and she, you know, came up with a beautiful vocal arrangement. She came in on Monday, and he's like, beautiful, but I want you to sing it like you're not singing it. You know, like, when I read that, it just made a whole lot of stuff connect in my head. It's like, you're not singing it. You're not, you know, reaching the notes and sending them out. You're just expressing the feelings. And yeah, without Michael, I don't think I would have got there.
Yeah, I think he was life-changing for you.
He was, yeah.
And your dad's passing.
Yeah.
It kind of all came
Oh, man.
in a sequence.
Yeah.
So
But that's life.
So
you know?
obviously now you're going to take this show to theatres.
Yeah, that's
Can
the
you
plan.
tell us a little bit about this?
Well, the plan is that I'll come to, I'd like to tour it, do a show a week. There's enough of towns around the country with 100 and 200 seater venues, and I'd like to come and play the show in the venues and bring a bit of Leonard and come out on a Wednesday or a Thursday night and sit down. Girls, it'll be mostly women, I would imagine.
I'd say so.
I would think so,
Just
yeah.
for you.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. But, you know, come and sit down and just go on an emotional journey and acknowledge life and the highs and the lows and experience something beautiful. I feel really beautiful when I sing Leonarh Cohen's music. I feel lovely when I sing it. I feel at peace and like, it's grand.
Well, watching you on the first half, you've made us all feel that way. Feel really, really good. And we're looking forward to you now going back to do a few more songs.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Finbar. It's been absolutely a pleasure. Your insight into music has been lovely. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, now, that was a very interesting interview with Finbar. I truly enjoyed that. I'm sure you did at home as well. So he's ready to give us some more music, a bit more Leonarh Cohen.
Dance me to your beauty with a burning violin. Dance me through the panic till I'm gathered safely in. Lift me like an olive branch, be my homeward dove, and dance me to the end of love. And dance me to the end of love. Oh, let me see your beauty when the witnesses are gone. Let me feel you moving like they do in Babylon. Show me slowly what I only know the limits are, and dance me to the end of love, and dance me to the end of love. Dance me to the wedding now, dance me on and on. Dance me very tenderly and dance me very long. We're both of us beneath our love, we're both of us above, and dance me to the end of love, and dance me to the end of love. Oh, dance me to the children who are asking to be born. Dance me through the curtains that our kisses have outworn. Well, let's raise a tent of shelter now, though every thread is torn, and dance me to the end of love. Dance me to your beauty with a burning violin. Dance me through the panic till I'm gathered safely in. Touch me with your naked hand, touch me with your glove, and dance me to the end of love. And dance me to the end of love. And dance me to the end of love. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is probably his most spectacularly successful commercial song. It's been covered by so many people. Angel tells me it's her favorite song to sing, and I think it speaks for itself. It's called Hallelujah. Secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift of baffled king composing hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you, and she tied you to a kitchen chair, and she broke your throne, and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Now maybe there's a God above, but all I've ever learned from love is how to shoot at someone who outdrew you. And it's not a cry that you hear tonight. It's not some pilgrim who claims to have seen the light. No, it's a cold and it's a very, very broken hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, baby, I've been here before. I know this room and I've walked this floor. You see, I used to live alone before I knew you. And I've seen your flag on a marble arch. And listen, love is not some kind of victory march. No, it's a cold and it's a very lonely hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, there was a time when you let me know what was really going on below. But now you don't even show it to me, do you? And I remember when I moved in you, and the holy dove, she was moving too, and every single breath we drew was hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Well, I did my best. Though it wasn't much. I couldn't feel, so I learned to touch. And I didn't come here tonight to pretend to be Leonarh Cohen and try to fool you. And even though it all went wrong, I'll stand right here before the Lord of Song with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Thank you very much. So, I'm going to finish off with this one. I'd like to thank all the crew. I'm just going to thank you all. And our audience, singular, the Backroom Boys, and all the people who make it happen, and Angel, of course. So this was a song that was released just a week before Leonard's death in November 2016. That year when so many great musicians and performers and actors died. And it's incredibly appropriate. It's incredibly, it was recorded on his deathbed, and I just love it. So, you want it darker? You want it darker? You want it darker? It recorded in Multifarnham, in the Friary in Multifarnham, on Easter Saturday, 2021. When I went for a walk with my daughter, just out for a walk, and this happened. If you are the dealer, I'm out of the game. If you are the healer, it means I'm broken and lame. If thine is the glory, then mine must be the shame. You want it darker? We kill the flame. Magnified, sanctified be thy holy name. Vilified, crucified in the human frame. A million candles burning for the help that never came. You want it darker? We kill the flame. Hineni, hineni, I'm ready, my Lord. There's a lover in the story, but the story is still the same. There's a lullaby for suffering and a paradox to blame. But it's written in the scriptures, and it's not some idle claim. You want it darker? We kill the flame. I lining up the prisoners and the guards to take an aim. I struggled with some demons, they were middle class and tame. I didn't know I had permission to murder and to maim. You want it darker? Hineni, hineni, I'm ready, my Lord. Magnified, sanctified be thy holy name. Vilified, crucified in the human frame. A million candles burning for the love that never came. You want it darker? We kill the flame. We kill the flame. If you are the dealer, let me out of the game. If you are the healer, it means I'm broken and lame. If thine is the glory, then mine must be the shame. You want it darker? Hineni, hineni. Hineni, hineni. I'm ready, my Lord. Thank you very much. You've been very kind.
Well, that was a fantastic show this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We look forward to seeing you all again next week. Until then, good night.